Hello, one and all, and welcome to round 3 of the League of Europe Formula 2 Championship for Division 1. We are here today at the Shanghai International Circuit for the Chinese round of the Formula 2 Championship. To help take you through the action tonight, I am Daniel Hoggard, leading the way in commentary for tonight, and thankfully, back with me this week is James Head. James, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really well, much better than last week. I was a bit ill last week, so I'm back, bright as ever. I thought it was Russia tonight coming into it, if I've got to be honest, but I realised that I was off, and now it's China. But I'm doing well nonetheless, just a bit forgetful.
Excellent to hear. Hopefully, between the pair of us, we don't make that blunder throughout tonight. This certainly wouldn't be too great. Last time out at Russia, which admittedly, from my perspective, wasn't great for driving standards, hoping for better this time around. But it still produced a lot of action throughout, in which Toxic MML did manage to end it with a pretty sizable championship lead over Lando second, 80 and 57 points respectively. Then Verstappen in third for High-Tech on 48, Larkin right behind him on 47. There's Tin Can and Rocco tied on 45, Campbell 7th on 44 points, Chill is behind that on 37, Sweet Crown 9th on 30, had a much better round last time out. M Short, after not being present for the last round in Russia, is 10th for Miami for HWA and 11th. XL Ryan, who also wasn't here last week, is 12th in the standings from Dylan in 13th, Josh in 14th, XL Noon 15th, Altagear Nolan 16th, XL Zenima 17th, Break FN 18th, Matthias in 19th, and Risa rounding out the list. So that is the Drivers' Championship standings. And James, going into this round, Toxic with a pretty sizable championship lead, but it's safe to say that I think that lead is actually quite exaggerated by his performance, mainly in the sprint races. Because if you look at the actual racing so far this season, he's really not had a good handle on the whole field so far.
He hasn't, but neither's Lando in second, so I would argue that Lando in the sprint races especially has been less consistent than Toxic. Toxic has been outscoring him third place in the sprint race for round 1, and then in round 2 last time out he finished second, so he's got consistency. Lando finished well down the field with only 1 point to his name, 8 points to his name last time out in the sprint race. Let's see if they can try and if he can try and reclaim some of that form of course from the sprint race. But here we go, we're about to go in towards qualifying. Toxic, Lando, Verstappen leading the way. Constructor standings as well. Univirtuosi in the lead on 124 points. High-Tech in second on 85. Damned in third on 81. BWT Arden in fourth on 73. They're now known as HWA Race Lab, by the way. Trident in fifth on 65. Arc Grand Prix in sixth on 54. MP Motorsport in seventh on 47. Carlin in 8th on 20, Campos in 9th on 7, Charoux in 10th on 6, and if you're in the Prima, you've got nil points.
And that is it for the constructor standings as well. Worth noting that our championship leader, Toxic MML, does have a qualifying ban for this round, so he'll be retiring from this session straight away, and it's up to the other drivers to make up for that. So Toxic is going to have to recover from the back of the field, which he has done several times in this league, but he's going to have a lot of work to do, and it does present the opportunity for the guys chasing him down in the championship to grab the upper hand heading in to that feature race. Points on offer as well for this qualifying session, and so with every point counting, these drivers are going to have to pull out the stops. It is going to be round Shanghai. We're going to be watching QVR Verstappen for this lap and over the line, and the High-Tech car now barreling towards the first corner on the lap. Then it just keeps winding and winding on right around. It's commonly referred to as the snail corner. You can see Toxic getting himself disqualified from the session now in a turn 2. Clip the apex nicely. Difficult traction zone as you keep turning all the way through it. That's turn 3 and then turn 4. Balancing the throttle on the exit and powering away now onto the throttle again. Flat out to the right hand kink of turn 5 and then onto the brakes again about the 100 metre board for turn 6. The first big stop on the track. Pick up the throttle and exit for Verstappen to get a good exit. He is on top of the field at the moment, heading into turn 7. Little dab of brakes for the entry. Try and keep it as full throttle for as long as you possibly can through turn 7. Try to open up turn 8 as much as you can. Another corner that keeps winding on. Get the car positioned to the right hand side of the track for the left-hander, the double left-hander of turns 9 and 10. punch on to the throttle on exit, and then you're again getting on to the brakes. They're short in braking zone, about 75 metres into turn 11. Then another long right-hander as you try to apply the throttle, not running out too wide, keep it nice and tight to open up your exit on to this over a kilometre long, I think it's about a 1200 metre long back straight. DRS now opening, getting up to some of the highest speeds you're going to see on the Formula 2 calendar. And again, looking to the braking boards on the left hand side, on the brakes before the 100 metre board, then down into second gear, get the car rotated, first gear to really get the fight through the corner, so the king can turn 15 into the final corner at 16. And we're going to see now that it's medium speed left hander who is going to claim that pole position. XL Lando seems to be in front, going for the line, does snatch it, but only just less than a tenth of a second in front of Verstappen. But for the man second in the championship, absolutely adamant that he gets the points back after losing that feature race victory from Russia. James, Lando on pole position, Verstappen right with them, and those two at the front in a class of their own in that quali session.
Really in a class of their own, and Lando and Verstappen both separated by 84 hundredths of a second out on track. Phenomenal stuff from the front two. Sweet Crown is in third place, from Chillen fourth, Noonan fifth, Dillon in sixth, Rocco in seventh, Nolan and Edge, Bodema rounded off the top 9 with Josh rounding off the top 10. Miami, Larkin, Tinkan, Toxic of course picking up that disqualification for driving the wrong way, and that qualifying ban of course. Matthias in 15th. Campbell, I think, invalidated out the final corner, if I'm not mistaken. He would have got third, I think, without that invalidation at the final corner. So really disappointing. Univirtuosi's got a massive amount of ground to make up in this feature race.
And they've dominated qualifying in both of the opening 2 rounds, so there's going to be a different challenge for both of those guys coming from the rear of the field. We'll see what they can make of it, and it presents a real opportunity for both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships to be tightened up. We're heading now into the feature race. Very overcast conditions, almost on the verge of raining. We're going to have to keep an eye out, see how that evolves. Everyone is going to be starting on slicks, but who knows, it might well evolve. It might get a bit brighter out on track, or it could start spinning it down. So very unpredictable stuff, and I don't think we've seen rain this season, and that could really throw up an extra obstacle for all the drivers to put up with when it comes to pass. So now, very intriguing race we've got in front of us here. In terms of the big championship headers, Lando and Verstappen both up there for Dams and for High Tech. But, you know, with Toxic having to serve that quali ban, Campbell well down the field, and Campbell's not had a great start to the season himself with his some of his race performances not being up to scratch. It really presents for an opportunity for for those two and all of their rivals to really make up some ground here. This is such an important race of the championship here.
It really is. Toxic starting in 14th, Campbell in 16th position, so it is going to be mightily tough right from the back of the field. They've got 16 laps of course within this feature race. I believe it's either 11 or 12 for the sprint race, if I'm not mistaken. So Lando out on top, Verstappen second, Sweet Crown in third. Let's have a look at the tyre choices. Everyone majority going for the set of soft compound tyres. They're going to pit in from around lap 5, I think. It is quite high tyre wear around here at China. Everyone else, though, Miami, Larkin, Matthias and Campbell, all on a set of medium compound of tyres. Now, they're the guys that are going to be quicker in the end of this race. Of course, if we don't get a safety car or don't get anything like that, then they're going to be all to play for later on in the race. Miami, Larkin, Matthias and Campbell, of course, all on a set of medium compound tyres. About halfway through the lap, Lando, Verstappen, Sweet Crown, your top three. I've got to be honest, Sweet Crown's performance in qualifying has been really, really good so far here in China. Can he replicate that, though, and try and get onto the back of the front two? Qualifying's one thing, race is another.
Don't forget though, Sweet Crown did get a podium in the last feature race at Russia. It clearly does have some speed to offer, and I'm going to keep a close eye on the German, see what they can make of that. Currently 9th in the championship standings, and could be on for jumping up even higher than that. Lando though, that all-important pole position. Both of his feature race, I'd say victories, but of course he did have the second one taken away from him, have been against hard battles, and both of those were with Toxic. Now, that door is open for him, but on the basis of qualifying, QVR Verstappen, who's been more clinical in the race, I'd say, so far than qualifying, he can certainly put up a good fight as they all come barreling down that back straight. Got to keep an eye out for Toxic and Campbell. Interestingly, split strategies for the pair of them. The other two drivers, the other three drivers, I should say, on the medium tyres, including Campbell, are going to be Matthias and those two HWA drivers, who I'd say have struggled so far this season, but Larkin's actually sitting fourth in the standings. It's a testament to his consistency, but we'll see if they can try and come to the field on an alternate strategy. As Lando guides them round to the grid, James, I'm going to come to you quickly before we get this underway. Who's your top three in terms of the prediction for this race?
Got to be honest, I can't see Lando getting beat out in front. Lando, I think, is going to be on top. For second, I am going to go for Verstappen, and in third, I'm going to go for Toxic. I think he's just got a more superior pace in the race compared to the guys around him. So Toxic for third, and he's starting on the set of softs as well.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be looking to make up some ground, particularly early in the race. They now settle onto the grid. We're going to get this opening race of the evening underway. They're now locked and ready. Here we go now. The lights are coming on now. Lando Verstappen in your front row. Who's going to lead in turn one? We have 5 lights. Long haul, but we are away for the feature race here in Shanghai. Who's got the best start for the front row? Lando gets away very well, and he's going to lead the way going into the first corner. Sweet Crown attacking Verstappen to the outside, and it's all bunching up behind then as Chell fends off attacks from Noon and Dillon heading through turn 2 now, and the field all bunches up throughout this tight second turn, and you're going to see if they can all keep it nice and clean, keep all the bits of the car, keep it pointing in the right direction. Now they punch out into turn 4, and you can see side by side for the down the field there. Dillon was able to slow it in front of XL Noon, who goes to the outside heading into turn 6. And you can see the BWD's announcement sound about going off there, almost right into the back of one of those HWAs. Rejoins right in the back of the field alongside Josh and Campbell, who did not get away well. But through the front, Lando maintains possession at the front there. You can see Miami and Nolan are battling away. Nolan to the inside of turn 8, trying to run the short route around, but he might not get that one done because now Miami claims the inside of turn 9, and the better run through on the exit, and it's going to snatch that up there, and Nolan's lost momentum as Larkin draws alongside. Great start for both those teammates. They're going to slow it into 8th and 9th. Nolan had to yield that. There's contact. Whoa. I think Tin Can moving through on Nolan. Nolan got a bit of a tap then. Toxic trying to light the pair of them up. Sets it behind. It's a manic first lap here at China. You can see Zerma coming under pressure from Campbell. Battles further down the field as opposed to further up the field. But up the front, pretty quiet. Lando leads the way, breaking a slipstream from the cars behind. Verstappen staying with him, but Lando did what he needed to do. Now he needs to hold on for the 15 remaining laps of this Chinese feature race.
Side by side with Campbell and Vadema running down in towards 14, and Campbell's got damage. Left side end plate damage for the Univirtual and behind. I think Nolan's had a bit of a half spin as well coming out of the curb, coming through the hairpin there. And now Campbell is going to have to try and troop around with left side end plate damage. Toxic has just been overtaken by Nolan, I think, and now Nolan looking on the back of Tinker. I think this is going down in towards turn 1, and Nolan gets the move done. Down the inside, Toxic trying to come through as well. This is for 11th position, I believe, out on track. So Toxic on the inside line, Tinker on the outside line. Toxic hangs him out to dry, gets the move done. Great move there by Toxic, and he's through, and he's up into 11th position out on track. There is a little bit of a timing glitch which you can appreciate. Zwadema right down the back of the field, but leading the way early on. Lando leading from Verstappen second, Sweet Crown in third, Chill in fourth. Then it's Dylan and Noon still going at it. Rocco in 7th, Miami 8th, Larkin in 9th, Nolan up to 10th, Toxic 11th. Position gains, 3 positions gained for Miami, Larkin and Toxic. 6 positions lost for Josh and Zwadema, who are fighting in that middle sector. It's 3 wide, in fact.
Yeah, they're going at it further down the field then, as Josh unders contact with Campbell. He taps Campbell, who goes out wide at turn 9. Surely Josh has to get that one up there. Campbell switches back on Zerma, but that damage, and with that possession, you can see he's looking back down the inside of Josh, hangs back last minute, but you can see the ball jostling for possession on this crazy opening to the race. Further up the field, Verstappen trying to chase down Lando. Lando is weaving left and right here to try and get out of that slipstream, but still Verstappen is with him. Sweet Crouch struggling to stay with the superior pace, I think, of the top 2 out on the road. Then he's got dive there from Noon on Dylan, down the inside into the hairpin. They go battling again on the exit. Noon has his nose in front, but it's not over yet. Dylan holding the inside line, heading into turn 16. Round the outside goes XL then. Great move. Now runs in 6th place, but the momentum is back. to the outside of the Dutchman then. Dylan draws alongside Noon again, and Rocco tucked in the slipstream as well. Can Dylan go all the way round the outside of turn one? He might be able to if he can just take it round, but I think he's going to get run out of road. Now his teammate is side by side with him then. Rocco and Dylan, just like in Russia, they're battling again, and Dylan comes out on top this time. Great racing between the trio, and it might not be over yet. Rocco picks up the slipstream. Dylan gives him space to the inside of turn 5. They're side by side once again in the two Trident cars. He nearly runs into the back of the Rocco, gets his nose in front. Great racing between two teammates, giving respect, and Rocco gets through. Now he's turning his attentions to Noon, who's lost the rest of the cars in front, so he's vulnerable. And NSX Rocco, early on this race, has had a great start to the season. He's on a charge yet again, looking for another top 5 finish here.
I think Larkin got through on Miami and all of that as well, so Larkin's now through and he's up into 8th fastest of the medium runners currently, and he's only on the back of these guys as Rocco now looks the inside on Noon, tries to dive it down the inside. Can he get the move done? Can he get the car stopped first and foremost? No, he can't, but I think he's just about got the move done. He has. Rocco is through on Noon. Noon's going to try and fight this back. Look at the train that went behind. Dylan, Larkin, Nolan just hanging on to the back of that as well. Toxic's not too far away either, so could rejoin on this later on in the race, but Noon trying to get the slipstream now on Rocco, running down the straight. Daruvala will be very happy, I think, with Noon's performance so far as he tries to dive it down the inside. And the Brit is through on the fellow countryman. Sweet Crown has been overtaken by Chell, and Sweet Crown in fact is spun, coming out the final penultimate corner, out on track. So unfortunate for Sweet Crown. He drops from 3rd, I think, down to 13th. Unlucky for Selman, as pit stops in the background. I think Toxic is into the pit lane. Nearly did a Hamilton, in fact, and Tinkan's in as well.
Yeah, these guys looking for undercuts early on there. You can see Dylan is trying to force a move on Noon. It's his contact from the back. Larkin's gone off down there in turn 1. And now side by side still between Rocco and Noon. Going at it on the exit. Rocco's going to get the move done. Now takes 4th place after that gutting spin, for Sweet Crown, who's occupying that 3rd place. Noon trying to get back into slipstream. Looks to the inside line. Hangs back for the time being. But he will just slow it in there. Rocco runs forward, trying to chase down. Chill up the road. Lando's pace is imperious though up at the front, and he has Verstappen's number for the moment at least. He is holding his own up there. Now, they emerge from the pit lane. Toxic, Tin Can, Zerima. Toxic and Tin Can, the 2 race winners from Russia, having a tough time of it so far in this race. Now, getting on those medium tires, and for Toxic in particular, this is important. He's been struggling to move forward on overtakes, which is rare for him, so he's trying to get it on strategy then. New mediums going on. Hopefully they get to the end of the race. Toxic needs to put in a stunning sequence of laps here if he wants to get anywhere near the front of this race.
He really does. He's in 14th position, but he's fresh out the pit lane, and he's fresh in the mind that some of the guys ahead are still, of course, yet to pit in. I think Dylan might have cut off Larkin coming through turn 1, by the way, and that's why Larkin spun. I think Dylan just moved across. He was trying to go up the inside, I think, of Rocco at the time, and he cut him off completely, forced him onto the grass, and that's why Larkin spun. Pretty sure that's what happened.
Oh.
Rocco in 4th, Noon in 5th. But that's Miami diving it down the inside of Miami, trying to go to Ibiza with this sort of move, and that I've used already before this season. Dylan still to the inside on. I think Dylan shoots into the pit lane, and he can't get the car stopped. He's done a Hamilton 2007, and he's lost the position to Nolan coming into the pit lane. An absolute disaster for Dylan. Hamilton 2007-esque, I think, without the gravel.
Yeah, he's quite fortunate that they don't have gravel there, otherwise that could have ended much worse, but he does lose that position to Nolan on the pit entry and lose contact with Noon, who was battling with. Both Verstappen and Lando came into the pit lane. They're going to remain in the same order then. Lando out there in front of Verstappen, who's still looking to chase him down. Maybe he'll have better fortunes in the second half of this race. Where does Toxic come out relative to these guys? He was a few seconds adrift. How much ground has he made on that outlap? The answer looks to be not quite enough, as he still has to slow down behind Nolan, who did drop behind Dylan, so there was a bit of a hold up in that pit lane, I think, and Dylan running quite wide, going through turn 1, will scoop it back in though and maintain position in front of Nolan. Toxic is in this race now, but he's got older tyres. He's going to have to really work for this now as he chases down Nolan, chases down Dylan further up the road. We still have some cars yet to pit in from those soft tyres. Chill still out there in the race lead. Of course, he couldn't pit on the last lap. His teammate filled that box. Now, he has Rocco slowly but surely chasing him down, and Miami having a good race here, keeping contact with these guys. The softs going off in this early part of the race. Miami with great pace on these mediums, and when he puts on the softs later on in the race, it could really open doors for the HWA driver to move up the field in the final few laps.
I think Miami's got a really good chance of maybe even winning this, to be honest, out on track. He's in third currently, he's behind Rocco, behind Chill. Those two are still there to pit then, to come into the pits though. Matthias just goes into the back of Sweet Crown, running down in 5th and 6th position. Wasn't just a little bit of an outbreak, I think, as we see Chill in, Rocco in, and Sweet Crown in. Josh still continues on because his teammate, of course, just goes in ahead of him. Dylan, Nolan are going side by side. Well, they're not going side by side, but they will do eventually. Dylan, Nolan, Toxic, fighting out for 12th, 13th and 14th. I wonder where these guys are going to come out. Chill, Rocco and Sweet Crown as Nolan's going to dive it down the inside from an absolute mile back, and it's nearly Verstappen and Vettel-esque 2018 as Nolan just about hangs on to the position. Dylan stays 12th, Nolan 13th, but Toxic right on the back of these. You know it is Toxic hunting down when he's on the back of these two as he now runs down the straight. Nolan to the inside line, no, Dylan on the outside line. I think Nolan will have this. And that is Sweet Crown just coming out the pit lane and behind him. Toxic's gone into the back of Dylan. Nearly puts a Constantine effect in there as well, with Nolan just in front of Dylan. Very, very lucky for that. There's no damage. Toxic is still looking right at the outside of Dylan, hanging off the camera the corner through turn 3. Dylan hangs on. Toxic desperate to get past, and that is why he is desperate to get past. Dylan makes a mistake, and Toxic through up the 12. Silly, well, not really a silly mistake from Dylan. He just overshot the rears in the end, and that's why he lost the position.
Yeah, just hitting them up there, laying them up, and in the end leak that position. Now, Toxic has a clear run at Nolan up the road, then he's got to try and chase down the group in front then. Rocco and Nude are still battling out there. Those two have been going at it the entire race. Been great action out there so far between them, and they currently run in a net 4th and 5th, so they're fighting for some solo points, and Toxic's not far from that if he can get moving in this final part of the race. But how much are those older tyres gonna hurt him here? Up in the front, Lando's controlling this. 2.2 seconds clear of Verstappen, who just can't quite live with the net race leader's pace as it stands out there. Miami from the race lead gets a penalty. We mentioned how good his chances are. Matthias gets one as well, but these medium runners, they cannot be affording that at this stage in the race. Now, DRS is going to be activated for Exelner as he chases down. And his next Rocco looks to the inside line. Will hang back though, as Dylan's actually chasing down Toxic. You can maybe see, a lap older tyres is such a disadvantage. Toxic, uncharacteristically, doesn't seem to have the outright pace here. And at the moment, he seems to be holding up Dylan, more so than attacking Nolan further up the road.
And that's what he gets for having a qualifying ban as well. It's so difficult to try and overtake and catch a driver around here in China, even in the F1 cars. In the F2 cars, it's even worse. Toxic is now up to 11, because Josh obviously came into the pit lane. He's going to be joining behind Tin Can. But Derma is also coming around the final corner, and he has dropped a real load of time out on track. It's about 15, 20 seconds maybe in that sort of region to Josh as he comes across the line. You can see there it's 33.2, but that's really not accurate at all out on track. Dylan still chasing down Toxic. Toxic still there in 11th, but Noon really beginning to come into his own as well, possibly for a top 5 finish. He's got Rocco just ahead of him out on track for the Carlin. Rocco, of course,
Dylan to the wall! Dylan's dropped it on the exit of turn 6, I believe. Just on the throttle, and a mistake-ridden race for XL Dylan, who started this so strongly. Now down into 15th place. What gotten luck for the Trident driver. I'm looking at this car. I believe he's got away without damage, just about. But yeah, that's a pretty cardinal sin there that Dylan's committed then. Now right down the field, 8 seconds behind the next car. That is disaster for XL Dylan in a race that started strongly, looked promising, but ultimately has turned out to be a miserable day so far.
Yep, cardinal mistake. I don't think he's going to be getting a very reverend, I think, for that one, if I've got to be honest. Larkin has just been let through by Miami for the lead of the race, so Larkin now through and into the lead of the race. He feels, I think, Larkin, because he's higher up in the standings, of course, that he can try and now put some laps in, and that's why Miami's just let him through. And remember, Miami's got that 3-second time penalty, so it's as if he's fighting absolutely nobody, to be honest, out on track. Matthias has also got that 3 seconds. Sweet Crown's got 5 seconds, who I think sped into the pit lane. Tin Can with 3s, with Derma with 6 as well. He's just been picking up because of multiple warnings. But Larkin now in the lead of the race, Miami in second. Matthias looks like he's gaining on Miami. It's 1.9 seconds out on track. if Matthias can put a little bit of pace in, he could try and catch these two before the pit stops. I would expect these guys to probably come in around lap 9, lap 10.
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe around lap 10, I think, is a good time for these guys to come in. I think Miami's struggling, though, for pace out there, because Larkin was a few seconds behind him after his incident with Dillon earlier on in the race, and he's been able to quite easily catch and pass his teammate. Miami letting him through is already struggling to stay in that DRS range of the driver in front as it stands at the moment then. It's settling down a little bit out on track, but still, Toxic just can't find the pace. Now Sweet Crown is on the back of him, and Toxic, a lap older tyres, is hurting him to the extent where he just cannot quite get up to Nolan. I thought he was going to breeze past him, but it's not turning out that way. He runs wide again and gets a penalty for his troubles, and that can set it back even more. He's lucky that the two drivers behind him also have time penalties to their name, but even still, Toxic looks like he's going to struggle to get a huge haul of points, which could really tighten up the championship, with Lando leading and leading comfortably. 3.1 seconds now is he to the good, as now Sweet Crown is lining up the double champion and the championship leader then. DRS is going to be open then, and now to the inside line. That's covered off though by Toxic, who still wants to fight this to the nail. Round the outside, Sweet Crown 19, Toxic very late on the brakes, too late on the brakes. The switchback comes through, and Sweet Crown grabs the possession. Against such a high caliber driver. Toxic made the error, tried to force it on the brakes. He's really struggling out there as Toxic. Can he fight back? He has DRS now. Can he find the inside line? Goes up against the pit wall, gets the gap, now draws level almost with Sweet Crown, who tries to hang it around the outside. Toxic is late on the brakes, and they battle away in again. Toxic claims the line. He's running Sweet Crown all the way round the outside. Sweet Crown hanging on in there. Toxic pitches him onto the curb. It's not over yet, James. Down the inside, Sweet Crown. Surely the traction is with Toxic. It is with Toxic. And he fights back then, loses the place, gets it back through sheer tenacity. That is the stuff of champions. And Toxic now can hone in as that little moment of brilliance. Gonna get him back into the rhythm. He's chasing down Nolan now. Nolan's struggling to stay in front, but even if Toxic gets through, one, pulling off that 3-second gap that he needs is going to be difficult, and also he's going to really struggle to catch the very quick drivers of Chell, Rocco and Noon up the road as well.
I don't think he'll be able to catch Noon and Rocco, to be honest, because they're on their own private battle. They're pulling away from Nolan. Nolan coming back into Toxic and bringing Sweet Crown with him as well. It's going to be quite fascinating to see. Larkin, Miami, Matthias should be pitting in, I think, from around this lap onwards. One of them will have to come into the pit lane soon, and both of them stay out. Matthias stays out, so just ignore what I've just said there, to be honest. They're on to lap 10, the leaders. Here comes Sweet Crown, though, on the back of Toxic. Once again, the German is going to try and have a go at the Brit. Can that magic of brilliance from Toxic earlier on in the lap as Noon goes around the outside and tries to switch it back, Rocco down the inside into the hairpin as well. I think Rocco's got the traction. Toxic, though, hangs on for Sweet Crown, and they're still going at it for Noon and Rocco into the final corner. Noon in 8th position, Campbell into the pit lane. He's the first on those mediums to come and pit in. Rocco now will try and run on the back of Noon, but I don't think he's close enough down in towards turn 1. And Noon hangs on for 7th. Rocco's trying to go all the way around the outside. Toxic as well on the inside line. Nolan moves around the outside, and that's brilliant from Toxic. Down the inside he goes, and he's up into 9th position. He just ran too wide, I think. Nolan got caught out on the marbles, and Toxic through. Even with a lap older tyres than Nolan, he's through and he's up into 9th.
Yeah, Toxic putting Nolan offline. Nolan overestimating the grip he had and running wide into the corner. Campbell came into the pit lane, now at the back of the field. A miserable day. Damage early on, not much you could have done about it. But what a horrible race this has been for QVR Campbell. Still, the two cars from HWA lead the way nicely up at the front. Larkin with a little bit more pace than Miami as it stands without a penalty. You suspect that surely one of them is going to come in on this lap then. We're going to come over the line after 6 laps left to go in this Chinese feature race. It is at the moment HWA 1-2, but it will surely not end that way, with Lando continuing to stretch clear of Verstappen 2nd place. Chell, we've hardly mentioned him though, running in a very solid podium place, and that could really serve him well in the championship standings there. He's holding Noon and Rocco arm's length. Larkin now dives to the pit lane. Does he get it stopped nicely on the entry? Yes, he does. Now, we're going to get a real test as to how good those tires are going to be, as Rocco looked like he closed up to the back of Noon there, but seemed to be reluctant to overtake there, James.
Yeah, really reluctant to try and have a go. Nolan's into the back of Toxic, forces him wide, and now Sweetcrown's going to try and come on the inside. He's now on the outside line. Running to the final corner. Sweetcrown's just about got the legs. Has he got the car? Round the outside. No, he hasn't. Nolan has to cut across the corner, and now that puts Sweetcrown now on the right back, on the right front foot, running down in towards turn one. Larkin, Matthias, by the way, are just coming out the pit lane, and Larkin's going to rejoin just in front of Toxic. Toxic's going to be very careful as Larkin comes out the pit lane. He's done this out of softs, and Larkin, I think, will be ahead of Toxic, and he is. Sweetcrown still trying to go around the outside of Nolan, hung out to dry by Nolan, and Nolan stays in ninth position. Rocco is still on the back of Noon. He is right there. He just doesn't want to go for the move. He's got all that pressure tyres. Why doesn't he use them up?
Well, maybe he's looking to try and time this for the last lap with how powerful the DRSs are on this track. It could be a show, but he needs to make sure he's not making mistakes. Needs to make sure he's sticking right with the rear wing of the Carlin driver. At the moment, Chell is holding these guys at arm's length. He's looking for a very solid podium, which would be his first of the season. He was almost robbed of a podium last time out in the Russian sprint race. Of course, the last race that we've had in this championship. It was critical, though, that Larkin got out in front of that pack, and Toxic tried to run it round the outside. Couldn't quite manage it. Matthias is going through as well. He's been past Josh, who looks to have just let the two drivers find him through. Maybe made a mistake, but he now drops down into 13th position. Matthias is going to go on the hunt as well further up the road. There was a mistake there from Toxic, I think, through turn 12, but he gets a magnificent exit coming off of turn 13. Miami from the lead into the pit lane, and now Sweetcrown lining up onto Gear Nolan. DRS for the pair of them. Where is Nolan going to go to the fend? He goes to the middle of the road. He tries to squeeze Sweetcrown to the inside line, but Sweetcrown finds the gap. Can he get it done on the Brixton? Nolan pinches him onto the curb. Penalty for Sweetcrown. They still battle on the exit contact. Nolan loses the car, collects Sweetcrown, and the pair of them are in the wall. What cruel luck for both drivers who battled so fiercely for that place. Sweetcrown immediately dives to the pit lane. Had a chance for a podium. A sequence of incidents have cost him that. Nolan as well stays out, but he just lost the tyres. I think they're on the exit of the corner, spun them up, and Sweetcrown, just nowhere for him to go there. Bitter disappointment for both drivers, and they're going to struggle to get any points in this race now.
Gotta feel sorry for Sweetcrown and that. Wrong place, wrong time. Nolan had spun the car on the outside curve, I think, and that's what forced him round. He did pinch Sweetcrown onto the curve. Not only did he run wide, but he got caught in the marbles and then he spun the car. Now Dylan is right on the back of Nolan, running down in towards turn 6 out on track. Can Dylan find a way through? Not quite. And they're still 12th and 13th for now. Tin Can as well on the back of Josh. Josh, I think, has recently just taken that move, so he's up into 10th position. Miami, though, trying to close in on Matthias. Matthias having one of his better races. Let's hope he doesn't bottle out on track like he normally does in League of Europe Division 1. Certainly last season, yeah, I did say that. Dylan is through on Nolan, though, and he's up into 12th.
Yeah, Nolan is nursing some wing damage on that car as well, on that art car, so that's why he couldn't really fight that one. Further up the road, though, this could get interesting. Larkin is not yet out of contention for a podium. He's just out of DRS, which of Rocco and Noon. Getting Shell's going to be difficult, but I think he does have a fair chance of at least getting P4 in this race, which would be a sterling recovery drive from XL Larkin, who continues to pick up the pieces and get the most out of his performance so far throughout this season. I tell you what, though, that Sweetcrown Nolan incident has really put a damper in this midfield fight, which was very entertaining up to that point before. But now it's sort of a bit more sporadic out there. Miami, though, is Rocco does get alongside. Noon to the inside line. Now he takes the initiative, and now he gets the move done, parking the car beautifully on the apex of turn 1. So Noon had nowhere to go. Rocco reclaims that 4th place in a seesaw battle that we've been seeing over that position 4. But it is Rocco who gets that edge, but that has allowed Larkin into the DRS range. Now we can now do the pair of them. So Rocco and Noon have been battling carelessly all the way throughout this race. Now they're going to have to focus on the real threat, and XL Larkin chasing down the pair of them. 4 laps to go. Surely Larkin's a favourite to get these moves done.
You would imagine so, but the tyres are going to fall off at a significant rate before the end of this race. So Larkin's tyres will be gone probably by the end of this, to be honest. Rocco Noon is in Larkin's sights, though, out on track. He's like a sniper trying to fire a bullet out on track. Rocco in 4th, Noon in 5th. Larkin there in 6th position. Miami's also catching Matthias, by the way, further down in 8th and 9th. So they're going to fight at that position. They've all got penalties as well. Penalties update, by the way. Toxic, Matthias, Miami, Tin Can, all 3 seconds, Campbell 5 seconds, Vadema 6 seconds, and Sweet Crown with 3 seconds worth of penalties, as now Larkin closes on the back of Noon. Can he fire the shot at least one of these drivers? The Carlin just ahead of the BWT. Down the straight, it doesn't look like he's got much response, if I've got to be honest. Of course, with the DRS that Noon is getting, Noon is going to hold on to the position for now. Miami, though, is going to try and go for a late lunging move on Matthias, possibly down the inside. No. Matthias in 8th position has a little bit of a squibbly moment. Miami cut the curb beautifully. Down the inside line he goes, and round the outside he goes, and he's through. Miami is through, and he's up into 8th, and now Larkin going side by side with Noon, running down the straight, and now Matthias is trying to go side by side with Miami further in the camera shot for Larkin. Down the inside line of Noon, gets the move done. He is through, and he's up into 5th, and Matthias fights back around the outside of turn 1 and gets Miami as well. So Larkin up 1, Matthias back up 1, and Miami just lose the position for the BWT.
Yeah, in the end, the Miami couldn't quite hold him back, and now Larkin's going to go on the hunt then. Rocco just up the road. I think he'll be too far back to get Chill, but certainly a 4th place finish may well be in the works for XL Larkin, and that would be a very handy result from So Lonely down on the grid. He started this race down in 12th position, looking at a top 4 finish will be excellent. Can Rocco hold it back though, with fresher tyres and softer tyres on the BWT? It looks very unlikely. Let's see if he can hold it back as we head now towards the last 2 laps of the race. XL Lando, we barely mention it because he has been peerless, dominating the race up in front, and Verstappen, although he ran him incredibly tight in qualifying, just hasn't had an answer, and that gap continues to stretch. The question is though for Lando, who has been the top driver throughout the feature races this season, can he convert that to sprint race glory, as he hasn't been able to so far this season? Larkin now with Rocco in his crosshairs now. Can he fire another shot at him? DRS is open then, getting up to 310 k's an hour, and he closed that DRS though to the edge of the straight. Wasn't interested, I think, in making that move. He knows he has more grip in the tires, he knows he has more pace underneath him, and he knows that the move will come if he can just be patient about it. As the opportunity can open itself up, he's got so much more grip in the last corner. This Larkin. Does Rocco go to the pit wall, to the fed, to the outside? Larkin goes, he gets alongside now, and can he run round the outside then of NSX Rocco?
Beautiful.
Larkin sweeps in a 4th position. Great move, and what a drive from Larkin. He runs wide though, and now Rocco coming back at him through turn 2. They come incredibly close to contact. Larkin holds on. Rocco for the switchback on the inside line. Gets decent enough traction, but it's not good enough. Larkin covers him off. Now towards turn 6. Rocco's going to need almost a dumb drive down the inside. He hangs back, and this time Larkin, well, he's seen 3 runs a bit wide, but Tractor on the exit will save him, and Larkin up to 4th place, and he'll try and chase down Chill to the line, but I think this will only get. But even so, what a great drive this has been from Larkin.
Really good drive from both of them, I think, out on track. Larkin 4th, Rocco 5th. Rocco, of course, pitted from a set of softs onto a set of mediums, and he is still hanging on in there on the back of Larkin, only 5 tenths away. Noon is going to be the one, though, that is going to try and catch Rocco at this late stage of the race. We've only got 1.5 laps to go. Lando is 4.5 seconds down, and from Verstappen is 2nd, Chill in 3rd. He can forget them, because they're going to be taking the top 3 out on track. Larkin, Rocco, Noon is the main battle to watch out in Miami, catching onto the back of Matthias as well. Still not close enough to get to the back of the side max man in front of him. XL, hopefully will try and excel out on track. That is terrible, I know. Miami, though, right on the back of Matthias. You've really missed me, I think, in commentary on F2. As Rocco now tries to come down the inside line. Can he get the switch back? No, he can't. Miami, though, on the inside. Down into the hairpin. Can he get the move done on Matthias? Matthias will try a switchback, but oh god almighty, it's a really poor switchback. He loses time, and Miami's through and he's up into 8th. I think Matthias just let him have that one, to be honest.
Yeah, just getting up ahead the place in the end. Miami has a very outside chance of chasing down Toxic. We'll see if he can make that work. I think you were right about Larkin's tyres falling off, because Rocco is all over him. It's been an inspired comeback here from Rocco, trying to fight back down the field. Campbell trying to salvage something. He moves past XL Dillon. Both of them could have got so much more out of these races, but it's not going to be to be. Dillon picks up the slipstream. He's going to try and fight back, but Campbell has more grip underneath him, and he will maintain that 12th place out there on the road. The race begins to settle down in these final lap of the race then. XL Lando, 5 seconds clear. What a dominant display this has been from Lando, who has now actually has been a mistake for Noon. Noon's dropped it on the final lap, and now Josh spearing off. I think that was behind him then. Tenka jumps the pair of them, and Noon, what disaster, having driven such a solid race. Now down into 10, turn 6, claims another victim in this Chinese feature race, and now Noon drops to P10. Cruel luck out there, as now Matthias trying to come back at Miami. Will cut to the front though, as XL Lando is powering away. He is headed for another race victory. Will be his second one of the season. This one, not a doubt. He's driven completely clear of the rest of the field. No one has been near him. XL Lando to the final corner of the lap. He is going to take home the feature race victory here in Shanghai. Over the line, Lando wins the fastest lap to count things off as well. Verstappen, best he could have done, second place on a great day for High Tech, because QBR Chill will hold on for the podium in the third place. He's had a mixed run of form in Formula 2. This one he'll be rewarded for. Third place, Larkin, great drive to fourth. Rocco holds on to fifth place, as to the line, Toxic will hold on to what is in the end going to be sixth place there. Good recovery drive from Toxic, because it looked like he was struggling out there. He holds off Miami, holds off Matthias. Tin Can to ninth place. Noon, gutting, will come through in P10. Campbell in front of Till and 11. Zonema and Nolan are paddling on the final lap of the race, going at it for 14th position. Over the line, Josh jumps ahead of Campbell in the end. Through comes Zonema to the line. He will beat Nolan to the line, but Nolan gets some penalties. Sweet Crown, having ran in the podium for the start of the race, will have to settle for 16th. Very entertaining race to kick off the night. But up at the front, not really any dramas. Lando getting a comfortable race win. That's going to move him ever closer to that championship lead, heading into the sprint race later on.
Sweet Crown going to get the fastest lap of the race. I don't think he does. Coming across the line, he picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. But yeah, Lando just drove an absolute socks off that dams, and he's through. And he wins the race here out on track. Driver of the day is awarded by the in-game fans is XL Larkin. Really good comeback drive. Going onto the set of soft compound tyres. Made it last, made him stick off Rocco for one final lap, and Rocco could not get past. But we now come to the podium celebrations, and it is that man there, Lando, who gets to the top of the standings, and Chill has left the session.
Oh, no.
I hope it doesn't cause any problems with the sprint race.
I've just seen he has dropped in the Discord chat. He says that his game has crashed on him, so we'll see what happens if he can maybe get back in, and if the lobby is going to actually hold up. Of course, we're looking at the podium now. Of course, Lando dominating that race. Great result though for High Tech, as I mentioned. Then second place to Verstappen, third place to Chill, and those two actually will begin to mount a bit more of a challenge, I suspect, in that championship. No doubt about the results up at the front of the field, and I've just seen reports actually, Toxic, the reason why he struggled a bit more is that he had very, very light damage on his front wing that we couldn't see, so that would have held him back his paces. I don't think I can see the results, James.
I can. Lando on top, Verstappen second, Chill third, Larkin fourth, Rocco, Toxic, Miami, Matthias, Tinkan, Noon, Dylan, Josh, Campbell, Nolan, Spadema and Sweet Crown.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, the game decided to black screen me. Absolutely brilliant stuff. We now progress though throughout the evening. Now headed towards the sprint race then, with the top 8 being reversed. You guys works by now. Bright and sunny for the race. No threats of rain here in Shanghai. Chill does get back in the lobby, so we will see how he if he can get back in before, or if he can get control of his car before we get back to racing, and hopefully the lobby will hold up as well. What have you just seen there, James?
Matthias in the Discord. Boys, go easy on my arse at the start of the sprint race. That's all you need to know, I think, from him.
Well, I believe he is starting at least in the front rows. He's starting on pole or second. It's either him or Miami that's heading up the grid, I think.
Yeah.
So
we'll find out in 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is what happens to you when you can't see the results.
I think Chill's not going to be racing, by the way, because he rejoined later than... he got his game back up and running. I don't think his car is going to be on the grid. If it is, then he can possibly rejoin. It is ghosted on our screen, but if Chill can get back in, I don't think he can join, though. He's in the session. I'm not sure if he can retake control of his car, though. 12 laps, though, waiting these drivers out on track.
Yeah, we've got to keep an eye out on that for QVR Chill. He starts, of course, he would start in front of his teammate on the ground with Lando down in 8th there. Toxic, because of his slightly below par feature race, he puts himself in a really good, strong position here for this sprint race. He's had great success, and this is where the majority of his championship lead has come from, has been these sprint races, and he's now in with a really good shot here, with just Matthias in Miami in front of him on the road. You suspect there's still going to be some quick drivers in there behind him though, so keep an eye out. Again though, some of the guys down the field that could have got more out of the races, people like Noon, Dylan, Campbell, Sweet Crown, who all had very promising races at some points in the feature, but they weren't able to make the most of it, either with mistakes or with damage. So really, this does change the concept of this. These guys are going to need to drive their socks off to get anything significant out of this evening of racing. So keep an eye out for them, trying to work their way through the field. Matthias, though, will leave the line in first position. He's, as expressed by his comments in the Discord chat, he's a little bit nervous for this one. Miami's going to chase him down, but Toxic third place. That is such a good position for a championship contender to be starting in.
Yeah, Chill is trying to rejoin in the session, I think, so it might cause another issue if he does leave and rejoin. But hopefully he'll be able to race out on track. I was going to say he'll be able to commentate out on track. I don't know why that came into my mind there. Matthias, Miami, Toxic, Rocco. If Chill was commentating alongside me, then you wouldn't have a job. It's as simple as that. Matthias, Miami and Toxic, Rocco, Larkin, Chill, Verstappen, Lando, your top 8 out on track. It's going to be difficult, I think, for Lando to try and get this win. It's going to be difficult for Verstappen as well out on track. But that man there, in third position, Toxic, has got the leading chance, I think, to try and win this. And he should try and win this one, as hopefully it's going to be fantastic to watch. And Dan, I will come to you. Opposite attract in terms of the my top 3, which went horribly, horribly wrong. Who's your top 3 for the sprint race?
Well, I have to go with Toxic for the race win, I think, then. It's a pretty easy bet. I'm going to say Rocco, though, for second place. I think Rocco's going to really shine, and I'm going to go with Verstappen for third. Let's see how it goes, though, the grid's settling, and I'll hand over to you, James, to take us through the start of this sprint race.
Chill's AI card just rejoining onto his grid position in 6th, and we're about to get going for 12 laps of what I can only describe as crazy action, I think, out on track. This is what we're going to wait on for the sprint race, and we're about to get started, hopefully, within the next few seconds. And yes, the 5 red lights are now on as we go racing in China. Right down away we go. Matthias gets a good start. Miami's got a better start though, and I think Miami's going to have the run down in towards turn 1. Matthias has had a dreadful second half of the start, and Toxic is already through into second. So the side max man really getting hounded as there's front wing damage flying everywhere in the background. Not sure if that was Nolan that got caught up in an instant on turn 1, but Miami leads from Toxic second. Matthias down to third. Larkin and Rocco going side by side out of turn 3. Now it's going to be Chill and Rocco. Chill has managed to rejoin the session, and now he's under pressure from Noon as Noon tries to switch to the outside line. Verstappen is going to try and make it 3 wide and towards turn 6. He's down on the inside line. Can he try and get the move done on his teammate? No, we can't. And the Arc Grand Prix car holds on for now. Well, the high-tech car, I should say, holds on for now. Chill in 6th, Noon in 7th, Verstappen in 8th. Lando is down to 9th, and he's down to 10th because Tin Can takes him down the inside line. Campbell's right on the back of this as well, and Campbell's going to try and make it all the way around the outside, going through turn 7. Can he get the move done? Campbell's down the inside line. Oh, and he nearly goes into the back of Tin Can. Sweet Crown as well. Sorry, Dylan nearly into the back as well of Lando. They both go wide in all of that. But Dylan there side by side with Campbell. Sweet Crown is trying to find his way through. Nolan, Josh, Ladema filling out the final couple of places, but it's Miami out in front. But he's getting hounded by Toxic as he comes through the right-hander for the first time and down onto the straight for the first time. It's Miami who leads, Toxic second, Matthias in third, and now Toxic is going to try and have a run. Very difficult with the sun conditions, by the way, as well, so watch out for this as they go through into the final corner. Toxic is going to have a go early. Down the inside line goes the Univirtuosi. Can he get the lead of the race? Yes, he can. He is through on Miami, and he takes the lead of the race. Matthias is still there as well. Tin Can, Verstappen fighting side by side further down the field. Dylan and Campbell still fighting side by side. Josh losing the position for final place for 15th and 16th. It's Toxic who leads, Miami second, Matthias in third as we go on to lap 2.
Yeah, chaotic first lap as you'd expect there. Toxic did exactly what he needed to do though, and leads the way. You've got Dylan looking at Lando. Lando really struggles with these midfield starts, and and again he gets actually bumped out wide there by Dylan, who forces his way through it into turn 2, up the road, side by side, Noon and Verstappen. Verstappen's not had a great getaway either. He now has to relinquish an inside line. Noon gets through in front of, well, of the high-tech drivers. There is a, sorry, I can barely keep up with the graphics glitch. It was, in the end, Tin Cannon did get through in front of Verstappen, then Dylan in behind. Lando had a look at Dylan, couldn't quite get through. Verstappen does have leg damage, so he's going to really struggle out there to get any significant points, I think. And Lando with damage as well. So both the race leaders from that last race really struggling at their leg damage as Campbell, for the second time of asking, sweeps around the outside of Lando, gets the manoeuvre done, now up into 11th place, and a manic start to this sprint race here, as you'd expect, but they all settling into line now. Up at the front though, Toxic leads the way, and powering clear of Exo Miami. He is in the pound seat for this one. Toxic MML, he had a difficult time of it in the feature race, but now he's ripping the wars, and now he is drawing clear of the rest of the field on the second lap of this race. They're all running in a line behind there. Chill trying to pick up a slipstream off of Rocco in front there. Rocco has had a pretty static start to this race, maintaining his spot in 5th, with Chill getting very close to his rear end. You can see as it was Dylan launching it down the inside of Verstappen. There's contact between him. Dylan forcing him out wide, and now Campbell trying to take advantage. He is to the inside line of XL Dylan into the final corner of the second lap. Great move for Campbell. Now has Verstappen with wing damage just up the road. We go into the third lap. DRS will be active, and Dylan trying to fight back then to the outside of QBR. Campbell, surely he can't go all the way around the outside. The Uni Virtuosi will shut the door. Now Verstappen running out wide. Verstappen relinquishing it now. Through goes Campbell. Dylan still fighting for it. To the nail with Verstappen, who holds the inside line. Going through turn 3. But it is, in the end, the high-tech that holds on to it. Dylan is still chasing him down. Heading into turn 6. To the inside line. He's going to go brakes later than Verstappen. Can he claim the place of his compatriot? Again, he forces Verstappen out wide. Verstappen slow on the exit. Lando gets alongside him. Round the outside is Sweet Crown round to the back, round dropping to the back of the field. Verstappen holds it in front of Lando. What a manic first 3 laps we've been treated to, James.
Real manic first 3 laps, and Verstappen unfortunately getting caught up in all of this incident, being forced wide by Dylan. Dylan, for my liking, is just racing over aggressively out on track. He needs to relinquish that now, and he's got to drive a lot cleaner if he wants to try and make it in Formula 2. Lando now on the back of Verstappen. Both have got damage, and a little bit of lag there from Lando as well. We have bad connection with Lando normally. Speedcrown, by the way, went round by himself. Ran through turn 7, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, as now Lando tries to size up Verstappen on the inside line. Nolan's going to make this 3 wide, I think, running down the straight. Here comes Nolan. Is he going to try and fight through it through the middle? No, he won't. Switch it to the inside, man, Nolan. Down the inside, can he make it 3 wide? No, he can't. Lando's down on the inside line. Verstappen, but they've gone too deep. Lando goes too deep, and Nolan can try and take both of them. But actually, Verstappen takes Lando, and he's through, and he's up into 11th. Nolan should have switched it, I think, to the inside line, though. He had the run. He didn't want to commit for a move, though, which I totally get. But it is Nolan still 13th, Lando 12th, Verstappen in 11th, and now Lando switching to the inside line. Can the Dams get the move done on the high-tech down the inside? Verstappen forced out wide. Lando through, and he's up into 11th. By the way, Campbell will be thanking Dylan later for that move that he managed to get done, because Dylan tapped the back end of Campbell, which forced him down the inside line. Verstappen is back through, and Lando in the meantime as well. I should really stop waffling on and watch my screen.
It's amazing, the most enthralling and back and forth battle in this race between 2 cars fighting over 11th. Lando to the inside line, forcing Verstappen out wide, and they're still going at it on the exit end. They're going side by side there through turn 7. 2 cars have wing damage, low on downforce. Verstappen again is repelling every attack that Lando throws at him, who cannot quite get to the inside line. Now Nolan trying to sweep around the outside of turn 8 to the inside line at turn 9 then. Can Nolan get a great move done? Lando away, then auto gear. Nolan, spectacular stuff to get into that 12th position. Now you can chase down Verstappen, but look at the time that they've lost. Verstappen now through on Lando. Lando won a miserable sprint race again. He just cannot recapture that same form that he demonstrates in these feature races, and now he runs out of 14th. But what a disaster this has been so far. It's a DRS straight further up the field then, as Lando now with a penalty. Matthias lining up Miami, looks a bit more confident. Larkin in behind. Rocco trying to size up Larkin. They all set in a line as Nolan will finally get past Here we are, Verstappen now in to 11th position. Verstappen trying to come back at him on the exit, and they draw level. Verstappen has somehow managed to wrestle positions from the jaws of defeat, trying to go round the exit again. This one's going to be covered off by Nolan, but the exit with Verstappen, the DRS with Verstappen. It's amazing that we're watching this battle, but it's the most exciting thing we've got going on track. Verstappen cruises past Nolan. Zenova now attacking Nolan. Backs out of the move on the inside line, and now Nolan coming back at Verstappen. He's got more front end grip, more downforce to his name. And Auto Gear Nolan will finally claim in that 11th place as Zenova gets alongside Verstappen. This is brilliant racing further down the field. Then Zenova out wide on the outside. Lando trying to get up and alongside him. Can't, and they settle into the line. Nolan finally gets through, but all this battling, as entertaining as it was, has lost him so much time. Nolan now has over 3 seconds to the group in front.
And Verstappen nearly went into the back of his teammate as well. Nolan just ahead. Verstappen there in 12th nearly went into the back of Nolan ahead. In fact, they're both in different cars. My apologies, that's my blindness of colours, I think, on the left-hand side of the screen. Nolan in the art, and High Tech, of course, representing with Verstappen. Gotta say, Larkin's looking pretty quick behind Matthias as well out on track. Second, third and fourth, it's letting Toxic get away. 2.4 seconds out in front. Miami in second, Matthias third, and then Larkin in fourth. And I'm sure actually Miami's now through and he's up into second. Must have got a move done off our camera shot. And Matthias now down to third, Larkin now down to fourth, and Rocco is not too far with this. Neither's Chill and neither's Noon out on track. I think Chill had rejoined the session coming into this race. You wouldn't think he's in 6th position.
He's had a really good evening as Chill, and I from someone that knows him personally, this is his favourite track on the calendar, bar none, and he's showing it here tonight then. Podium and a good drive in here, where he is threatening NSX Rocco further up the road as well. So Chill driving inspired tonight, but he does run wide off that final corner, manages to avoid a penalty. His Toxic fastest lap. He is on one, 2.6 seconds clear. That's the Toxic that we know. I think Verstappen's gone to the pit lane. He's looking to try and get a fastest lap, I think. He knows he's not getting any points any other way. So he is just going to go to the pit lane. Is now Lando and Zenova battling away in a turn one. Round the outside, Lando runs it out wide. Zenova will get back underneath him, and Lando without damage. You can see how much he's struggling. And it's amazing to think, having scored so many points at the feature races, that sprint races have brought him almost no fortune in comparison.
Which is a shame, I think, and Lando down in 13th. I did say he would struggle, and look who's right. James, I'm right. Yeah, let's just say that. Toxic leading Miami second, Matthias in third, but Demma now running out of Zodema, I should say, running out wide as now Lando will come across, round the outside through turn 7. Absolutely impossible, and he's going to be hung out to dry because that damage is just getting too much, I think, for Lando. If I was Lando, honestly, nothing to lose. I would come into the pit lane and try and get that fastest lap point that is available, of course. Toxic leading. Look at Larkin, though, right on the back of Matthias. He's shoving him through into the final sector split there. Goodness me. Toxic 3 seconds clear, showing why he is a 3-time champion, of course, within Formula 2. Miami in second, Matthias third, Larkin in fourth. Rocco's not too far off the pace either. Rocco's been very consistent, I think, tonight with his driving. Larkin and Rocco actually believe they're in the same positions compared to where they're finishing the feature race as well. So that comes to show how consistent they've actually been. Matthias in third, though, still hanging off the attention. Oh, and there's a lip-breaking move from Chill. Nearly gets it messed up. So does Noon, in fact. Noon nearly ran into the back of Chill under the brakes. Campbell ran on the back of Tin Can as well. Lando and Zodema still going side by side out on track. Larkin, though, now trying to line up on a move for Matthias, but they've both got DRS, and Matthias is just keeping them at bay for now. And Matthias is in third. Gotta be honest, I don't want to bottle it. I think Matthias is having one of his best weekends I think I've ever seen him drive.
He is driving very well, but he's struggling to stay in that DRS range, and Larkin can pile on the pressure. Campbell now attacking Tin Can, heading through turn 3. Tin Can holds the inside line though, and is able to get his arm just in front. Campbell running right inside of turn 4, almost swipes across him. He tucks back into the slipstream to the inside of turn 6. He's now looking down the inside. Goes Campbell in the Univirtuoso. He gets pinched to the inside line by Tin Can. Wheel bagging on the exit, and Campbell drifting the car. Just been able to hold on to it as Matthias. I think Miami's made a mistake. Matthias now up in second place. Miami must have got offline through turn 7. Loses the place. I thought Matthias was struggling to stay in that DRS. He won't have DRS now, because now he's leading the way with 2 HWAs chasing him down. Can he possibly hold second place? As now we've had such an exhausting race. It's amazing to think we're only now in the second half of it. It's such a big train, long train for this second position, but Miami now hassling Matthias. Matt TU40 is going to come under tremendous pressure. Toxic from the lead. lead has picked up a penalty, but I don't think that's going to cost him too dearly with the lead he has. Now, DRS for Miami. He's going to look to drop back through then, as Larkin's relentless pressure may cost him, as Rocco now chasing him down. Miami re-passes Matthias for that second place. Rocco looking to the inside lane, will hold back and Moon with a move there down the inside. Oh, run, Chill almost runs into Rocco, as now Chill gets back alongside the Bally again, and here at turn 16, Chill has the inside line. Chill has the possession, but a slow exit off the corner to go with it. Now, Noon sizing him up to the outside line. It's going to be then going at it, heading into the first corner on the 8th lap then. Round the outside, Noon going to get cut off there. Chill running in deep, and Noon coming back, and Rocco attacking Larkin as well. Farther up the road then, Rocco and Larkin side by side. Chill and Noon side by side, and Campbell and Tin Can side by side further down the field. They're extraordinary, and still to Noon, trying to get in front then. Red is in a Chill. They go parallel towards turn 6. Who's going to be braver on the brakes then? They get close on the entry. Noon trying to take the short run through the corner. Running Chill into space. Chill has to get it up. Excel Noon, after an incredible fight, gets the manoeuvre done. That was one of the best wheel-to-wheel battles I think we'll see this season. Enthralling stuff there. Zerima and Lando are paddling still. Heading into turn 7. Again, Zerima will get the better of Lando in the dabs. Oh my word, James, this race has been manic, organised chaos out there on track then, but pretty clean though still. Miami holding on in second place. Toxic is running with them, so we can barely track him on the cameras though, because of how entertaining this race has been further down the field.
Yep, Toxic with a 5.5 second lead now out on track for Miami in second, Matthias in third. All of this battling, all of this train that Miami and Matthias is bringing up, and now beginning to bring the likes of Campbell and Tin Can. To think Campbell and Tin Can were about 1.5 seconds off last lap around, and now they've joined right onto the back of this train. It spans from second all the way down to 9th. Dylan's not too far off the pace either. Matthias will try and look on Miami, but I don't think anyone's going to get the move done this time around. Noon again late on the brakes compared to Rocco in front. He just loses a little bit of time. Just going to be careful, I think, in terms of his braking point. Lando and Zerima are going side by side down into the hairpin. Then Zerima has got the move done, and he's now through and he's up into 12th. Really difficult name to pronounce with my northern accent, as Lando now is going to try and fight back on Zerima. Now for 12th and 13th. These guys do not know when to quit. Lando's going to go down and Jason to the pit wall. This is going to be squeezed to the pit wall, and Lando forced him across track. That is not really on from Lando, if I've got to be honest. He's got front wing damage anyways. He doesn't want to pick up more. He's hung out to dry. That's his own doing, I think, to be honest. And Zerdima's through and he's up into 12th. But Zerdima is definitely not going to be happy. Neither is Rocco, as he's going to lose 2 positions to Noon and to Chill possibly. And Noon's got him, Rocco into the back of Noon. Going through, Larkin there, side by side with the Matthias, going on the outside of turn 7. No way can he get this move done, and no, it's letting Miami now get out in front, 5.8 seconds. Toxic leading for Miami. Matthias third, Larkin fourth, Noonan fifth, Rocco sixth, Chillin seventh, Campbell 8th, Tin Can in 9th, Dylan firing off the top 10. Zerdima and Lando are still going at it side by side. If I was going to be honest, though, between Zerdima and Lando, Zerdima, I don't think I would be happy with that move going pretty much across the straight.
Yeah, that could have. It was lucky. It was lucky for the pair of them, but it didn't end up worse than it did. Lando clearly driving with some frustration under them, no doubt about that. Where now, coming up to the 10th lap, which has got just over 3 to go in what has been a thrilling sprint race here in Shanghai, and still the battle for second place rages on. Matthias with DRS. Miami knows the danger and breaks the slipstream down the straight. Matthias not putting in too much effort to follow it and will maintain third position. Looks like the DRS stream will hold up there. No real overtakes. This is still going down into 9th place. They're all these drivers together. No penalties for any of them. They are all in the hunt, and it's getting even closer now as Larkin trying to line up Matthias. Matthias trying to line up Miami. Those three throw a blanket over them. They head down the back straight, the front straight I should say, heading in to turn 1 on the 10th lap as Larkin though looks ever threatening again on the back of Matthias, running round the outside of turn 2. That's never going to happen. He's maybe just running alternate lines trying to put him under pressure. The Dutchman is equal to it though, driving by far his best race this evening, it must be said. He's holding on though, but Miami just being equal to it. What pressure is Miami under though, doing everything in his power to maintain that. Matthias, Larkin all over him, and besides one little mistake at the midpoint of the race, he is not cracked and still just about holds down that second place.
He's just about holding on to the second place, but Matthias and Larkin are now hounding him. Noon, I think, is looking quicker out of the front 4 for second down to 5th, to be honest. Rocco, Chill, Campbell, Tin Can, all still involved with this battle. Lando and Zerdimus still don't know when to give up their fighting. Nolan now catching Dylan. They're fighting as well as Rocco has a massive mistake coming out. Campbell has a bit of lag coming down, but Rocco makes a mistake. He got caught wide coming out of turn 10, and Chill and Campbell have swept him on by, and they're through into 6th and 7th. Noon right on the back of Larkin as well.
Yeah, so we see these moves shaping up there. Noon, as you mentioned, has great pace, but I think Matthias is going to have some great pace coming down the straight. Now has the RS to his name, but he's been hesitant to go for these moves on Miami then. Running in second and third place. To the inside he looks, but he doesn't gamble with it, and he holds firm in third place then. XL Luna, I think you're right, he has got pace. As Josh going off the back of the field, and Rocco and Tin Can now battling then, and Nolan and Dylan further down the road then. In a turn 16, side by side, Rocco with the inside line. You can't go round the outside there if you're behind, and Tin Can finds it out there. He cannot get past Rocco, who's going to try and recover in this race and try and move throughout the field then. No lines are being opened between these three. Battling over that second place then, as Matthias trying to find a gap to the inside of Miami. The door is firmly closed, and now Larkin, late move, bit of contact between them, gets to the inside line of Matthias. This maybe his only shot for podium here. He draws alongside, gets his nose in front then. Larkin and Matthias going to the nail for it now. Through turn 5 in the kick, down to turn 6. Matthias breaks late. Larkin trying to find a switchback, hesitates, and now Noon taking advantage. He's going to look now to the outside of turn 7. Who's going to come in on top here? Larkin trying to hold on to it. Noon cannot sweep all the way around. He gets a good exit and he's coming back again. Radius in a turn 8 this time. Surely not then. He's running all the way round, but this one's covered up by Larkin, who opened the door but couldn't quite get through to Noon. He has to sit him behind, but his pace is phenomenal at this point in the race. Down the field, Nolan and Dylan are going at it. Nolan getting the edge though in that enthralling fight. Over 10th and 11th place then, they head down the straight yet again, going on to the final lap very soon. Toxic has dominated this race, but that's been half the story of it, because it has been action galore, going down onto the back straight for the penultimate time. And I think Miami will hold on to it. They'll all sit in formation. Who knows what this final lap's going to bring? Can Miami somehow hold on to this second place?
I hope he can, because he's defended absolutely brilliantly all evening long in this sprint race. It's been fantastic to watch. New now into the back. Oh, Constantine effect. He goes into the back of Larkin. Causing Constantine behind. Chill and Campbell went into the rear of each other as well. Dylan, I think, left through Nolan, if I'm not mistaken. I saw Nolan and Dylan make a little bit of contact into turn 7. Dylan tried to go down the inside line. That's what happened there, I think. And now Nolan is back through and he's into 10th as a result. Campbell still on the back of Chill. Goodness me, what on earth is going to happen on this final lap of the race? Toxic 6.6 seconds. Campbell's right on the back of Chill.
Trying to run it around here, so turn 3, that's cut off though. Chill will hold on to it, and now Rocco's lighting them both out. Then oversteer for Campbell, opens the door for NSX. Rocco, who powers round the outside of turn 5, gets in a 7th place then. Rare mistake from Campbell, who tries to dive it back down the inside. That's never going to work. He runs into the back of Rocco slightly. Rocco runs wide, and now Campbell gets up alongside, squeezed towards the grass by Rocco. Nothing in it at turn 7, and Rocco will hold on to it. Campbell shuts the door to get him back round the outside. Surely Campbell does not pull this off. Has the shallow lane going through turn 8, but he's still fighting for it then. Rocco runs it round the outside, trying to hold on to it, gets pinched onto the curb, squeezes Campbell out wide. Campbell nearly pulling off one of the most improbable moves I've ever seen, but he doesn't get through. Can he get it done? Later on in the lap then, the battle for second still rages on. Can Matthias make a last gasp move here? I'm watching Toxic, who's already celebrating down the straight, weaving to the left, weaving to the right. He knows it hasn't won, as now Campbell alongside Rocco, going wheel to wheel down the straight. DRS will be with Campbell, and he'll try and pull through as Rocco comes in front of him then. To the inside, Campbell's going to go as the Matthias for second place. Oh, Miami breaks late around the outside. Surely he does not pull this one off. Matthias in the death runs it round. Somehow Matthias has got through. Toxic crosses first. Brilliant try from Toxic, but Matthias will at the death hold on to the second place. Miami will slipstream to the outside. No, he's denied. He's denied of that second place. Larkin 4th, Nudbeth, Chelsea. Campbell wins the battle against Rocco, who loses out to the Tin Can over the line in the end. Rocco made a mistake at the death. I didn't even see that. Tin Can 8th, Rocco 9th. It's raining after the checkered flag. Yeah. Dylan is 10th in the end from Nolan 11th, Zerdimus 12th, Lando 13th, crashes over the line. Verstappen, sweet crowd, Josh will cross, and I'm going to need to lie down after that one. What a race!
I think we both need to lie down, to be honest, and these drivers deserve a lie down after that as well. Toxic just dominated affairs out in front, but Matthias having to pull off a move right around the outside. Full credit to Matthias. I said it was going to be one of his best evenings of racing. Verstappen just coming across the line in the 14th. We'll have Sweet Crown and Josh coming across the line for 15th and 16th. I literally said, a few laps before the end of the race, Matthias was having his best evening of racing so far. That just proved it with that move around the outside of the hairpin. 2 corners from the end, gets the move done through turn, just looking at my track map, turn 14, the hairpin. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. Josh across the line to finish in 16th.
Yeah, that was a brave, bold and beautiful move there from Matthias to snatch second place. And maybe that will renew his confidence as he's had a disastrous start to the season. Gets better here. Campbell does get driver of the day for the sprint race by the Endgame fans. Wasn't his best evening though. He'll be certainly hoping for more next time around. And we're going to get our podium. Toxic, I think after that quali ban, he was expecting his championship lead to get cut down. After another disaster in the sprint race for Lando, it could well have extended it after this round. Toxic drove brilliantly there, and in the end you can't fault him. Matthias, brilliant manoeuvre, and Miami, you have to say, also drove fantastically well all the way through. It was just robbed right at the death. He does get a podium just in front of his teammate in a race that I would probably class as the best race of the season so far. I'm not sure about you, James, but that was stellar out there on the roads.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, really great racing out on track. It just got a little bit tense, I think. Lando definitely complaining in the chat there in Discord. Learn how to take turn 1, lap 1 properly, and then race. That's what he said. There's an expletive in there, which I'm not repeating for everyone. Toxic out on top for Matthias in second, Miami in third, Larkin fourth, Noon in fifth, Chill sixth, Campbell seventh, Tinkan in eighth, Rocco in ninth, Dylan in 10th, Nolan 11th, Soderma in 12th, Lando with the fastest lap. How's that fastest lap? 47th lap. Verstappen in 14th, Sweet Crown in 15th, Josh in 16th. Fastest lap of the race. I'm just trying to pinpoint who it was. I think it was Toxic that got fastest lap of the race, if I'm not mistaken. Verstappen, yeah, 45.4, gets fastest lap. I'm not sure why Lando's been awarded the fastest lap point, then he doesn't deserve it.
I'm just looking at the list. I think he had the slowest, fastest lap out of everyone. Codemasters, what are you playing at there?
And there's been a patch update today as well. Fix it again.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Well done, everyone. But yeah, that aside, absolutely fantastic evening of racing we've been treated to, James, yet again. And I hope you're gonna be alongside me for the rest of it. I did miss you last time out in Russia, so it's great to have you back with me yet again. And I'll come to you last then to round off quite a chaotic night. I'm gonna ask you a difficult question here. Who was your driver of the day?
If I've got to be honest, driver of the day, I think Rocco. In terms of consistency, was well up there. Larkin well up there as well. I think I'll share it between them both. Rocco and Larkin, I think, get my driver of the day vote. What about you?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I'd have probably given it to Larkin in isolation, but yeah, I could definitely see that as well for Rocco. Had another very solid evening. And yeah, continuing his solid run in the championship so far. We'll see if he can push on throughout the rest of the rounds. The next race is going to be at Singapore. Tight technical street circuit. It is going to be manic. And those drivers are going to have to be on their A game. A track where it's so difficult to keep your front wing on. And if that wasn't enough, the round after that, they're racing at Monaco. So just...
Oh no.
Imagine what they have in store. But we'll see if they can put up with it. We're going to have to wait and see. But I think myself and James are going to sign off for tonight. Fantastic night of racing. We're both going to need to lie down. And yeah, so until... Sorry?
Hang on. We need to do a bit of self-promotion.
Alright, you're very good at that, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, of course. We have League of Europe Assetto Corsa on Friday night, of course, and then we're back on Saturday. Chinese Grand Prix, of course, as always, here in Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, Division 4 and Division 5. Pre-season race 2, go and tune in 6:40 for Division 1, 3 and 4. And then Daka, you're alongside Commentalist, of course, in the commentary box, Division 2 and Division 5. And that is at 8 PM UK time. Sure the organisers will pay me for that one too.
I'm not. I'm not going to talk. Wait, I get paid. Do you not? Wait, what?
I'm head commentator in TTML. Remember?
Oh yeah. What's your salary?
Nothing.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's before this stream completely collapses. I think it's time to sign off. So thank you all very much for tuning in, and until next time at Singapore, we'll see you later.